welcome to Truth or Politics. I'm your host, Darlene Price, and we have with us tonight Dan and Dan Gibson, and of course the folks behind the scene, our cameraman and all the supporters. First, we want to welcome everybody. Welcome back. We took a little hiatus off, and then we scheduled a show, and I'm sorry I had a dog emergency the night of the show that we were going to do this show on, and dog, the escape of the Great Pyrenees. So I had to cut and run, go home, grab Great Pyrenees, pin them back up. So sorry about that. So here we are, and I humbly apologize for that. Here we are back. Okay, our main topic tonight is going to be the health insurance industry / scam. I vote scam, that it's a scam, and I'll get into all the reasons. I forgot about this. Get into all the reasons why. By the time we're finished, you're going to think it's a scam too. First, I want to hit on something that just happened. Our Attorney General. An article was done in Newsbreak and several other, I think the Courier Journal and some of the other, our Louisville Commonwealth Journal. Is it Louisville Courier Journal, and some of the bigger newspapers carried it too. And I'm not going to read the whole article. I had posted it on the Facebook pages. Please go back and read the whole article. But it's kind of stuck in our craw. This is our new Attorney General. His name is Russell Coleman. And this is just one of the statements he makes. And for those of you who have been following this show for years, you know that this is just unbelievable what he said. He says, again and again, the EPA and the alphabet soup of federal bureaucracies have tried to stick their noses into Kentucky land, air, and water. Why would far-off Washington think its clumsy power grab could take care of Kentucky better than the men and the women who have lived here every day? Well, and again, read the whole article. I'm not going to read the whole thing. Okay, well, here was my response to that. For anyone who's gone on, and if you have a chance, if you haven't done this, please do so. Go to YouTube. Type in, query, Lake Cumberland, What Really Lies Beneath. We spent, almost 3 years on a documentary called Lake Cumberland, What Really Lies Beneath, exposing what I'm going to read you, my response to Mr. Coleman. And this is, the documentary has literally hundreds of documents. We had thousands, but we posted right around, 200, I think, documents backing up everything that we exposed. Here's my response to our Attorney General. Dear Mr. Coleman, with all due respect, you have either not done your homework, on what's really going on with the Kentucky Division of Water and the Kentucky State EPA, or you're just another bought-off bureaucrat by private industry. Please go to YouTube and watch a documentary entitled Lake Cumberland, What Really Lies Beneath. What has been well documented and exposed in just one city is an irresponsible and reckless mayor named Mayor Keck and his minions who have transported over 60 million gallons of toxic waste in the form of leachate from landfills and processed it through a highly defective wastewater treatment plant in Somerset, Kentucky. This was then deposited in a creek that empties out into Lake Cumberland, which flows into the Cumberland River, where millions of people and animals get their drinking water. What was most disturbing was the well-documented fact that this debacle of gargantuan proportion was covered up by the Kentucky Division of Water and the Kentucky State EPA. And yes, I'm very comfortable saying that they covered it up. The citizens of Kentucky, not Frankfurt bureaucrats, demonstrated great courage in putting a stop to this amazing disaster. The question remains, how many other Mayor Kecks are getting away with the same thing, and what has your office done, and what is your office going to do to protect our water sources and not the polluters? Sincerely, me. That was my response to him, and it's kind of taken off. It's gone viral. And several newspapers are putting it in their letters to the editor, because this guy obviously, you're either bought off or you didn't do your homework. You don't know what the hell's going on in your own state. After we exposed all this, the state EPA and the state water district came out and said, don't eat the fish. There was a don't eat the fish thing statewide because the fish are poisoned with what's called PFAS, You can tell this guy didn't know what he's talking about. Yes, we need the federal EPA in here because the state of Kentucky has failed miserably, and the state legislature, your state senators and your state representatives have failed us and pretty much have poisoned everybody. So that's what happened. We have thousands of documents to back that up in just one area, and I know for a fact that similar things have happened all over the state of Kentucky, and this state EPA and the state water district has been a joke. Comment? Here.
I'm just wondering how much money changed hands during this, how many million gallons did you say?
60 million gallons
60
at
million.
least.
How much per gallon did they pay? Do you know anything about that?
No, we had all that. In fact, that was brought up at the city council meeting. Off the top of my head, I don't remember what the numbers was, but it was a lot of money.
In the many millions.
Well, that the trucking company and went back and forth. A lot of people made a lot of money. Unfortunately, the city of Somerset really didn't make that much money bringing this in.
Well, the city didn't. I wonder if any of the city didn't. I'm just wondering if any of the individuals did.
Yes, of course they did. And we had those figures. I don't know them off the top of my head now. We did a whole show on that. In fact, that even came out. We had an attorney up there, I forget his name, Big Shirley, brought that up. That, the difference in because they lowered the cent on the gas and stuff. He had all those figures and he posted them. He did a really good job.
If you or I poison someone for money, what do you think would happen?
We'd be in jail, but welcome to Kentucky, and welcome to the insurance industry. Good segue. There we go. Okay, because the insurance industry is literally killing people. Okay, and this is what I wanted to touch on this tonight too, but here's the main topic of the show tonight. Now, why am I doing a show on this? Okay. Most of you, if you're new, you don't know the history of the show, please, I don't have time to really catch up because I really want to get into this. I'm a former federal investigator. I'm now I do this show. I'm an investigative journalist, but I'm also, I do a lot of investigative work and stuff for lawyers and also for my husband's law office. And we do personal injury cases, as a lot of attorneys do. So, and I've worked with several attorneys in the state of Kentucky on this kind of thing. So, here's what's happened over the several years. 2 years ago, I hurt my shoulder doing something really stupid. I trained dogs behind my house, and there was 2 big trees that fell over across my trail, and I was trying to make the dogs, where I go, you go. And so I was using those as an obstacle to climb up and go between the 2 big giant trees and get the dogs to do that because I told them to. Well, I had one dog being lazy and trying to go around, and so I turned my head and it was wet. I should have never climbed up on those trees. Long and short of it, I really got myself a shoulder injury. Now, go to the doctor. Doctor says you need an MRI. Okay? Now, we have what I thought was pretty good health insurance because we sure as hell pay high premiums for this health insurance, okay? It took forever for it to get an MRI approved. First off, they kept denying it. No, you have to go to physical therapy first. Well, the physical therapist, said, well, wait a minute. We don't like doing physical therapy when we can't see what's wrong with you. We can end up hurting you. So this fight went on and on and on. So I ended up, they forced me through physical therapy, okay, and which did nothing. So, and the only way that we finally got an MRI done is my doctor called the insurance lady who had no medical experience, none. You got people denying treatment in the form of MRIs or whatever who have no medical experience. So the doctor said, you either approve this or, they're going to file suit and I'm going to be a key witness for them that you caused injury to this woman because, the longer this goes, because, this is like almost a year later, I still don't have an MRI, okay? And a lot of injuries, if it goes untreated and if you don't get an MRI, it can get worse. So I got the MRI. Okay, so that was a couple years ago. Since then, just in our office alone, and I'm not going to say the names of these people because, they're our clients. We've had 3 more clients denied MRIs. Okay, same thing. One, make them go through, and here's the problem with going through physical therapy. First off, physical therapists don't like doing this, and I know 2 physical therapists. One of them retired early because he got sick of dealing with the health insurance industry. The other one stopped dealing with health insurance. You just pay him up front, or he ain't gonna do it. He's not gonna deal with the health insurance industry because you have basically some girl or guy, it was a girl that I dealt with who was 0 medical experience, telling a doctor no. Telling and 2 of our clients' cases, these were orthopedic surgeons, okay? These were top of the line orthopedic surgeons saying, I gotta have an MRI. And they kept denying it and telling them, no, I don't want my client to go through, my patient to go through physical therapy first. You can hurt them.
By controlling the money, they're controlling the healthcare industry.
Right, and I'm going to get into that. Perfect segue. So this happened 2 more times. Now this is just in our law office. Okay, so I do a lot of work with other attorneys, throughout the state of Kentucky and in other states too, as a criminal defense investigator. So, so I started asking them, on these cases that I work, look, you also do personal injury cases. Are you having this problem too? And they're like, oh yeah, oh my God, the health insurance industry, they just deny, and this is people. We're not talking Obamacare, and I'm not saying Obamacare it's bad too, but I'm talking top of the line health insurance that people think they're paying a lot of money for to get good health insurance. This is like this level of health insurance, and you're getting denied treatment. Okay, so I decided this is bull crap. And I've argued with these adjusters, because that's what they're called. I'd like to adjust them. I'm telling you, there's times when I want to, some of them are good. Okay, some of them are good, but a lot of them are not. And, they don't care. They don't care that you've paid your premiums your whole life, and now the first time you need help, they're denying stuff. They just don't. They're just And we started a jackass award. And I have this little ceramic jackass, and I keep forgetting to bring it. And tonight we were going to award the Jackass Award to our Attorney General, Mr. Coleman, and to the healthcare industry. I will promise I will start bringing this Jackass Award. Okay, but let me read you. So I did my homework, which we always do. Did my homework. And here's where, first off, our research tonight. I'm going to read you where we got all this research from, because I spent hours on this. The National Institute of Health, commondreams.org, Massachusetts Health Policy Commission, Donald M. Barrick, MD, MP Kaiser Health News, Physicians for National Health Program, U.S. Senator Elizabeth Warren, who, by the way, has done more to try to rein in the bought-off health insurance industry than anybody on Capitol Hill. The New York Times, the Community Catalyst, Corporate Greed, and there's an article, the Corporate Greed and the Healthcare Metastasizing Disease, and that's really what it is. It's a disease. So let me read you some of the facts. These are facts. These are documents. This is in a book. It's in these articles, and you can read it yourself. You can pull this up. When we have lobbyists entertaining our U.S. Congress whose shoes they are wearing cost more than the average citizen's entire wardrobe, these same citizens who can't get to sit down with Congress, that tells you everything that's wrong with our healthcare system. Unchecked greed concentrates wealth, wealth concentrates political power, and political power blocks constraints on greed. In other words, and I've said it for 14 years, the health insurance industry is allowed to bribe our state senators, our state representatives, who could change this, and at the federal level as well. Okay. The immediate truth is that the medical insurance companies are inadequately regulated. They're not monitored and punished for their greed. In the current itinerant, there are bastions of greed, power, and money. Okay, today, the U.S. healthcare system, 70% of which is funded by the taxpayers. Let me repeat that. Our U.S. healthcare system is paid for 70% by the taxpayers. It's dominated by giant corporate actors that control every link in the healthcare payment and delivery chain. The largest insurers in the country also own their own. This is the part where just follow this, folks. Follow the money. The largest insurers in the country also own their own pharmacies, pharmacy benefit managers, physician groups, and more. These arrangements allow giant healthcare companies to operate on both sides of the healthcare transaction, and these providers of healthcare services and the entities responsible for paying or reimbursing for those services. This is a gross conflict of interest. This used to be illegal. Now it's not. That's your state legislatures and your federal legislatures. That's your Mitch McConnells. Okay? That's your Nancy Pelosi's. That's also local. Your local representatives could change that. They don't. It's basically legal bribery.
Well, they used to call it treason. They used to call it treason back when they cared about the nation that they lived in. But even foreign powers can contribute to their campaign funds nowadays. And used to be, they called that treason, which was a capital offense. And yet now, it's just campaign finance.
Yeah. So.
It's amazing.
Okay, so for the last 25 to 30 years, the number one reason that people file bankruptcy is healthcare situations. Now, folks, these are people with good jobs. These are people that make $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 a year who pay really big premiums for healthcare. Then they get in a car wreck. Or then they're like me, they fall between two logs or something like that. And then they have to fight the insurance industry to get the health care they've already paid for years. Okay? And they're not denied. So this is just horrible. And, and this is why I bag on both of these parties, especially at the state and federal level. Democrats, if Donald Trump gets elected this time, I'm telling you a big chunk of why is not because everybody loves Donald Trump. I know some of them do, okay? You failed, okay? When Joe Biden ran last time and all the other Democrats that got put into the state and federal legislature, okay? One of the reasons people said, they do all of these questionnaires months before the elections. And the top three things in every single poll, the top three things what people were concerned was health care, because it's bankrupting people. Okay, so the Democrats ran on that. And now Joe Biden's been in there for 4 years. He's had a House and a Senate for at least 2 years, okay? They didn't do anything. They did big pharma. They went after some of the big pharma stuff and reined it in. They've done nothing about this. Nothing. And your state legislature hasn't either, and it's both parties. People are fed up with this, but yet they keep voting. Let me hit some more of these.
Haven't they told the people during their campaigns that they are going to do something, that they are going to correct it, they are going to fix it, and yet they don't?
Right. They lie. They're liars.
Well, sort of like that song I wrote, that I'll lie to you for your vote.
Yeah, you need to play that song. Okay, so here's some more food for thought. Where's the money going in? Because we're talking billions of dollars you guys, all of us, pay for these premiums, okay? And in Obamacare, you still pay for Obamacare because your taxes pay for Obamacare. So we're paying for health care. You're not getting it. Here's where it's going. According to Care Over Costs, private insurers have denied more than 248 million claims and pre-authorization requests each year. Let me repeat that. This is they're pocketing the money. They have denied every year at least 248 million claims. That's 248 million people like me, our clients, filing a claim saying, hey, I'm hurt. I've been paying you for 20 years now. I need an MRI. No, you're not having it. That's a lot of money. 248 million claims. Do you know how much money? That's billions of dollars. So here's where the money's going. Follow the money.
Always.
Even if you can't afford health insurance, okay, let me drop down here. A total of 41% of U.S. adults, over 100 million people, bear medical debts. One out of every 8 individuals owes more than $10,000. You get a room with 1 in 8 people owe $10,000. These are people who have health. I'm telling you, these are people who have health insurance. They're paying for the premiums and they're getting screwed, like I did. U.S. healthcare costs are nearly twice as much as care in any other developed nation. Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield has been consistently underpaying reimbursements and inappropriately denying coverage. In 2021, 53% of Anthem medical bills for the second quarter were unpaid. Let me repeat that. Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield in 2021, 53%, they just didn't pay it. They didn't pay the medical bills. That amounted to $2.5 billion. In 1 year, $2.5 billion. Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield pocketed the money. They took your premiums and they took the taxpayers' money and they pocketed the money. 80% of doctors report that patients have abandoned their treatments because of the prior authorization process, because they get denied and they just get tired of it, so that they don't get treated. 80% of their patients. That's a lot of people. That's almost every patient gets denied. 19% say it has led to a life-threatening event or required an intervention to prevent permanent impaired or damage. Okay? In 2022, United Health Group made over $20 billion in profit. Here's where the money's going, folks. Here's where it's going. Hey, wait. Pay close attention to this. United Health Group, $20 billion in profits. Cigna, $6.7 billion in profits. Elevance Health made $6 billion, and CVS Healthcare made $4.2 billion. All told, America's largest health insurers raked in more than $41 billion in profits in 2022. This is where all the money's going. It's going into the pockets of CEOs, and here's the other thing too. Every city you go to, go downtown Cincinnati, go downtown Louisville. What's the biggest buildings? Biggest, shiny, beautiful buildings.
Insurance.
Aetna, what is it? Horizon, whatever it is. All the insurance industries, with all these people in their overhead, pocketing the money. It's not going, and denying you people out there, even though you pay these premiums, denying you health care. CVS Health, which owns Aetna, reported a revenue over $300 billion last year. Let me repeat this. CVS Healthcare, who owns Aetna, Aetna, all the buildings everywhere, $300 billion in 1 year, with profits talking $4 billion, even as the company plans to lay off 500 people in Connecticut. Okay, go ahead.
Did I hear in there somewhere that a very similar thing to what I discussed a while ago about they're doing it by denying the health care to people, causing them to remain sick or get sicker or even die because of money. If you cause people to die for money, what would they do to us?
We'd be in jail, okay? But welcome to the healthcare industry. Now, why are they getting away with it? Let me hit a couple more, because I really want to piss you off out there listening to this. Because if you're not angry about this, then you haven't gotten hurt yet, okay? I'm telling you, you people out there think you got health care and you're paying these big premiums. Just wait. Just wait. You call me and tell me your story, because I got dozens of them, okay? You're going to get screwed. You're gonna need an MRI. They're gonna deny it. You're gonna need whatever treatment is. They're gonna deny it, and you're gonna have to fight to get the treatment that you need. Well, you can't even get treatment because you can't get the evaluations. You can't get the MRIs. You can't get the EKGs. You can't. I had another story. A kid, okay, head injury, goes to a certain hospital. I don't want to blame the hospital. These people have insurance. Good insurance, they thought. The kid needed it. You get a head injury, you need, an EKG, an EEG. You need brain waves so they can see what the hell's wrong with your brain. Why is this kid having headaches? He just had a car wreck, okay? Well, guess what? No, insurance tried to deny it. So then the doctors are fighting with the insurance industry. Here we go again. It just maddens me. CEO, listen to this. This will really piss you off. CEO James Reed, everybody go look up his name and comment, right? Of Exilius BCBS, he made over $2 million a year while patients were denied treatment they need. That's in CEO's one pocket in 1 year, $2 million while they're denying people's treatment. The American Medical Association survey, these aren't fly-by-night organizations, okay? This ain't just, Joe Blow on a Facebook trying to do a survey. This is the American Medical Association survey found that 94% of physicians surveyed said that prior authorizations means they're denying your health care, okay? Lead to delays in receiving care, and 80% said that prior authorizations could lead to treatment abandonment. People get so tired of waiting 6 months, a year, they just say, screw it. Forget it. And so even though they've paid their premiums, $38,398 for a single, listen to this, a single shot for a very old cancer drug, Kaiser Healthcare, and Kaiser Health News published this, cost $38,398. Okay, so.
But from what you said there, you said that the patient chose to give up. That wasn't a choice made by the patient. The patient just saw that it was going to work, wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
He didn't choose it.
Right.
The insurance company is the one that chose that action.
That's a good point. That's a good point. No, the patient was grounded down to the ground where they just give up. And that's what they count on. And so they make billions.
Whether they give up or not, they wouldn't have going to get it.
Well, I think in some cases, if you fight long enough and hard enough, a year later, you might get it. The problem is, and it took me like eight or more. It was almost a year before I finally got an MRI. By that time, the damage can be worse. Okay? I lucked out. I was able to do physical therapy and do some things, and I didn't have to have surgery. If we have clients, I'm telling you folks, this is real. And everybody out there knows somebody like this. There are people out there that need a surgery. They have a surgeon, a qualified medical surgeon, telling some idiot at the health insurance industry,
they need a surgery. My
patient needs surgery. She's damaged. And they say they argue with the surgeon. These people have no medical, because when my doctor argued with them, she asked, what are your qualifications to turn this down? None. They have no medical qualifications. They're just told, turn everybody down, and then finally they'll give up and we'll pocket the money. I want you to read, folks. There is a movie out that's pretty old, and it's a book, Jeffrey Wambach. It's called The Rainmaker. Okay, and this came out about 40 years ago. Maybe not that long. Very famous actor, his name escapes me. Google it real quick, somebody. Anyway, this was based on his true story, and it was just a heart-wrenching story. It's a movie, it's called The Rainmaker, and it's a Jeffrey Wambach book. Go read that. This kid dies of leukemia because this insurance company that was called Great Benefit on the movies just screwed these people over. Took their premiums every month and just denied. And he finally took them to court. And the jury found the kid dies. So it becomes,
Too late then.
Yeah, too late. And that's what's happening. Okay, so back when this was going on, we had some laws and regulations started coming into play. And then, but Bush Cheney administration just eliminated them all. And to where the insurance industry is just a free reign. Then the Obama came in and they put up a little bit, but then Obama let it water down. So it's both parties, folks. Obama could have done so much more. Just like, I'm sorry, but the Democrats, you're probably going to lose this time, and I know you're going to blame it, they're just Trumpers, they're Trumpers. No, let me tell you why you're going to lose. This is why you're going to lose. I talk to people all the time who say, I can't stand Donald Trump, but I feel betrayed by the Democrat Party. Because the Democrat Party, they promised to fix this. I needed my MRI. I needed my surgery, and the Democrat Party did not fix this. Here's the other thing, folks. It's not just at the federal level. You have state legislatures right here in Kentucky. There's other states that have reined in the insurance industry. They've made state laws that say you will not deny MRIs. You will not deny this, okay? And they're having to behave in other states. Not in Kentucky. That's your state representatives and your state senators. And if you don't know who they are, you better be finding out, and you better be making some phone calls. Here's the problem, and I say this every time, follow the money, but it comes back to the voters. When an elected official, like both parties, Mitch McConnell, Nancy Pelosi, whoever they are, when at the federal level and at the state level, and they have primary people too. You can't say, well, I'm not voting for a Republican or I'm not voting for a Democrat. Oh, okay. Well, there's these things called primaries. And these primary elections, Republicans have Republicans running against them. Democrats have Democrats running against them. It doesn't matter. The voters, over 90% of the time, and usually it's higher than 90% of the time, you keep voting for the same, jackasses who are not fixing this. Okay? And I'm sorry, but that comes back to the voters knowing, I can go out in the street and start interviewing people, and I can just stop people on the street and ask 100 people, and probably 80% of them will not know, or more, 90% of them will not know who their state legislature is, or who their state representative or state senator is. They won't know, but they can tell you everybody on UK basketball team and what their stats is and everything else. Until it affects you personally or somebody you really care about, then and only then do the voters pull their head out of their butts and hopefully do something. Because so far, the voters have not. You keep voting in the same people who are screwing you.
Here's the thing. If someone came off the street and came into your house, did not ask, didn't knock, just came into your house, and reached in your pocket, got your billfold, and reached in there and took every dime of it out, threw the billfold on the floor, and walked back out the door, you'd be looking for your gun. You'd say, wait, let me get my gun. I can't allow this. We can't have this. But do you realize that that's exactly what the politicians are doing to you? They're not asking you. They're not wanting to know about your opinion. They don't want you to know what they're doing because they're trying to get rid of our open records laws. They're trying to hide everything they do. Everywhere you look, these ingrained politicians are the problem. Why is it you keep electing them? I do not understand it.
Exactly. And again, let me be clear. The state of Kentucky, your state representatives, your state senators in your area, because this show goes out all across, this show goes out all over the United States and beyond. We have people in Germany that watch and everything else. Your state legislatures can absolutely pass laws to rein in the insurance industry, the health insurance industry. They are not. And you ask why? Well, because they're bought off by the insurance industry.
Is that donating to the? Is that something donating to the re-election campaign fund? Is that
yeah. Here's what's happened. It's called legal bribery. Okay, and people from Aetna, people from Kaiser, all of these health insurance industries all across the United States, they have lobbyists. K Street is loaded with the health insurance industry, and so is Frankfort, Kentucky. Where they sit down with your state rep and they buy them off. You leave us alone, let us do whatever we want and screw everybody over and make billions of dollars, and we'll fund your campaign. Now, until the voters start firing your state officials by, unseating them, in the primaries, in the general election, quit this party bull crap. Start firing these people. Nobody's going to pay attention to the voters, and you're going to keep getting screwed. That's what's going to happen. Now, I'm going to talk about tort reform. The average Joe out there, they hear the buzzword, tort reform. And all these politicians, oh, by the way, Mr. Coleman, our Attorney General, he's big on tort reform too. That's what tort reform is. Tort reform is a nice catchphrase that the politicians use who are bought off by the health insurance industry to say we need laws to protect the insurance industry from lawsuits. So in other words, not to protect you. Tort reform is not to protect the individual. Know this, it protects the insurance industry. The car insurance industry, when you get in a wreck and State Farm denies your claim, or some of the other ones, I don't want to just pick on State Farm, even though you paid your premium for 30 years. We had a client relatively recently, been with a certain State Farm, I'm going to say it. Been with State Farm for like 40 years. Had their house, everything was State Farm. She had a hell of a time. She got in a wreck. It was not her fault. Some woman was just a nut and had 3 or 4 prior wrecks. Slammed into her. She gets hurt really bad. Messes up her car. And it was like a year and something fight with the insurance company, State Farm. And I know I'm picking on State Farm. They're all bad. Okay, the insurance industry is all corrupt. They're all bad.
But they couldn't do a thing without these politicians. The politicians are what allows this to happen. Why are you, somebody please tell us why you're doing this. Why are you allowing them to continue doing this to you? When every dollar counts nowadays, I know several people are right on the verge of teetering into bankruptcy. And yet, they're good, hard-working people, and yet they don't go vote.
Or they keep voting for the same people.
Yeah.
If anybody gets a blank check, if I get a blank check, that's what you're doing. You're giving these politicians a blank check. They don't have to do anything to fix this because they get your vote anyway. Let me repeat this. Your state legislatures and at the federal level, they don't have to do anything for you because you vote for them anyway. That's the status quo in America, and for the last 20 years it's been that way. Over 90% at the state and federal level, your legislatures, that's the people who make these laws, okay, who enforce these laws. Over 90% of the same people keep getting in there because the voters keep voting them in. Think about that. People, you're thinking, well, no, that ain't happening to us. Okay. Yeah, it is. We've got on how many people, I'm telling you, husband and wife teams, to combined income well over $100,000, pay them good premiums into their health care. They think they got good health care insurance until they get hurt, until they get in a car wreck. And then the health care insurance industry denies their MRIs, and then you have to go to fight with the car insurance industry to pay the claims. Okay? That's what tort reform means. When these politicians stand up there and say, I'm for tort reform, what that means is I'm for screwing you over. That's what I'm for the insurance industry. I'm not going to protect you, the individual. I'm going to protect the insurance industry. That's what that means, folks. Do not fall from that.
I like to think that we're speaking to an intelligent group out here. Why wouldn't you just wipe the slate clean and start fresh? Because they're not representing you in any way. When you elect them to do just that, but they're not. They're not representing you in any way. Why would you not just wipe the slate clean and start fresh? Why would you not do that? I don't understand it. A high intellect would definitely do that. They would wipe the slate clean. And I like to think we're speaking to intelligent people. Please do that.
Here's some more food for thought. Follow the money. Windfall profits also appear in salaries and benefits for many healthy care executives. This is where your premiums are going, not to your MRIs, not to your health care. Okay? Of the 10 highest paid among all corporate executives in the U.S. in 2020, 3 were from Oak Street Health, and a salary and benefit included reported $568 million for the chief CEO. $568 million for a chief CEO from that Oak Street Health. That's where your money's going. It ain't going to health care. Executives in a large hospital system commonly have salaries and benefits of several $1 million a year. Some academic medical centers boards allow their CEOs to serve for six-figure stipends and multi-million-dollar stock options on outside company boards, including the ones that supply products. Here's the other thing, including ones that supply products and services to their medical center. That used to be illegal. It used to be called insider trading. That's a huge conflict of interest. Your legislatures at the state level and at the federal level made all of this legal.
Yes.
They have legalized bribery.
Now, is that working for them, the voter? Is that working for the voter in any way that you know of?
Here's the thing. I have talked to them blue in the face. Our clients get it now. People out there and other attorneys' clients get it now. But it's too late for them. They get it once they're in this fix. Once they're at home and they can't work because they're hurt, they can't get an MRI to get the treatment they want. Okay, their health insurance industry is denying their claims, and the auto insurance industry is fighting them. Okay, so now you're home, you can't work, you can't pay your premiums anymore. Now that leads to bankruptcy. Again, let me just restate, the number one reason people go bankrupt in this country is not stupidity, it's not laziness, it's health care issues. These people who pay premiums for health care are going bankrupt. People with good jobs are going bankrupt. Families where husband and wife both work, make over $100,000 a year combined, are going bankrupt. Because when you get hurt and then you're in a fight with these people, it takes a year or two. Sometimes it takes 3 years once you get into a lawsuit. Okay, we know, we do this all the time. This is what we do. This is what I can tell you. I've talked to, I don't know how many other, I've got friends, attorneys watching this. I'm hoping they're hitting like right now because their clients are dealing with the same thing. Okay, and it's horrible. You know these people. This is a small community here. Our clients they're usually our friends. Okay, these are my friends, my relatives. These are people I care about a lot, and they're getting hosed. So this is what the word tort reforms, those words really mean, folks. You don't let them fool you with anything else. Okay, I think we covered that. Last words, Dan.
Well, they're really, really good with words. The politicians are. They know that's what they study. They're really good with words. They did a thing several years ago called no-fault insurance. Turned out being everybody's fault. Just the opposite. It's not no fault. Everybody pays a big insurance premium, supposedly, to stop all this suing, and it didn't stop any suing.
That's right.
That's that tort reform thing we're talking about. There's more court action nowadays about car wrecks and such than ever was, and yet they said no fault. This insurance is going to take care of all of it, but it ended up being everybody's fault. So don't pay attention to what these politicians say. Unelect them. Get them out of office. You know they're not representing you.
Okay, Michael, you had a question.
But one of the things that gets me is these politicians are not helping us.
No.
Yet, millions of illegals who's never paid anything into the system.
Good point.
They do anything for them.
Completely, health care completely free. Being put in motels while we have veterans sleeping out on the streets.
Okay, good segue. That was my next point. Okay, yet, I don't know if you heard Michael Mann, he's the man behind the curtains, and in a good way, okay? Yet, again, Democrats, I hope you heard what he just said. The borders are wide open, these people are coming in here, and they're getting free health care. And it's also putting a drain on our system when the insurance industry is pocketing our money and these people are getting free health care and the taxpayers are paying for this. When you lose against Trump, it won't be because Trump's great and everybody loves him. Because I'm telling you, I can't tell you how many people have told me, I can't stand Donald Trump. I can't stand him. But I'm not voting for the Democrats this year because they failed us. They had a chance to fix this and you screwed us. That's the feeling. This is why you're losing. And if you lose, this is why you'll lose, is this. The health care. I'm telling you, they took polls before this last election. The last presidential election. There was more polling done than anything. And I'm telling you, Fox News polls, MSNBC news polls, Purple polls, they all went out and asked, what's the top 3 things on the voters' mind? healthcare made the top 3 in every single poll. That should have been a clue to you, the Democrats. We better fix this or the voters are going to get pissed and do something, okay? You didn't catch the memo because you didn't fix it, okay? I will say this. They did pass some laws, and Elizabeth Warren, by the way, is the one that got this done, to reining in Big Pharma on overcharging some stuff. Not enough, but they did do something. So you got to give credit where credit is due. And I'm telling you, this is why voters are ticked off. You know, 8 out of 10 people are walking around with $10,000 debt for health insurance when they're paying premiums. If I'm paying a big premium for health insurance, when my doctor says I got to have an MRI, you should just give it to me. I've already paid for it. Most people, they paid it for years. You know, I'm old. I'm turning 63 years old. You know, I paid into this healthcare industry for 63 years and really didn't use it. And the first time I needed something big, an MRI, it took a year of fighting to get it. And you wonder why you're going to lose, you know, come this November. Hello, McFly. This is the problem, okay? And I got a few little bit left, so I want to get back to something else completely different. Okay. So in between the time that we were supposed to do this show and now, we had a little Secret Service debacle to call, and I'm being facetious there. Basically, unless you've been living under rocks, some guy tried to kill the President of the United States. Now, whether you like Trump or not, okay, that's unacceptable. What happened with the Secret Service and the absolute FUBAR, the absolute unbelievable things that the Secret Service did or did not do is just beyond belief, okay? For those of you who know my past and everything, I worked for a little agent. Many years ago, I was a federal agent. There was no Department of Homeland Security back then. Most of the federal agents were either under Department of Justice or Department of Treasury. I was under Department of Treasury. If you were any of the agencies under Department of Treasury, and you have military background, which I did, or especially if you had personal protection detail experience, which I did, you also served as a OTA, what's called an other Treasury agent. You did Secret Service details. I worked many details, many presidential elections with, I had Reagan, I had Nancy, that's how old I am, okay? Bill Clinton, Hillary, I did a lot of Hillary stuff. I'm telling you, the Secret Service agency that I was privileged to work with, I'm telling you, those many years ago, this never would have happened. Never. And it just, to me, and we've talked about it on the show before, when you have no whistleblower protection for any federal government employees, that's the people on the front line of your national security, the people protecting your presidents, your heads of states, when they don't have any protection to come forward and say, hey, there's something wrong here, then nobody's watching. Also, under the Bush and Cheney administration, you Republicans out there, I bashed on the Democrats, now I'm going to bash on the Republicans because you both suck, okay, at the federal level. You watered down the OIG, the Office of Inspector General, back when I was in the military and everything, they actually had teeth. They had oversight of Secret Service. These agencies were scared to death of an OIG inspection. Whistleblowers could actually go talk to them and have a little bit of protection, okay? Now there's not anything. There's no whistleblower protection. The OIG's been defanged, and nobody's watching. There's no oversight. This is why this happened, okay? So, I'm sorry that it happened to Donald Trump, but guess what, Donald Trump and you Trumpers out there? Guess who watered this down? The Republicans. They did that under the Bush-Cheney administration, watered down the OIG. Okay. Now, have the Democrats fixed it? No. So you both suck. I'm sorry, but we call Boston strikes here, don't we, Dan? I'm telling you. And so both parties suck, especially at the federal level. There's no whistleblower protection for anybody to come forward and say, hey, this is wrong and somebody's going to get killed. You say that against any management in these federal agencies, you bend over, put your head between your legs, and kiss your ass goodbye because you're done if you blow the whistle. I know, I wrote the book on it, literally. I wrote a book about it. It's called Bordergate. So there's that, and then the OIG now has no fangs. Now, the Republicans caused this, but the Democrats have not fixed it. Okay? Democrats, you've been in power now twice. 2 times in the past 20 years, the Democrats have had the president, the House, and the Senate. And you could have fixed this. You did not do it. So, this party bull crap that everybody keeps playing, oh, I'm a Republican, oh, I'm a Democrat. No, you know what? It's time to put both of these parties in the S-can, okay? Because they suck. They're not helping us, especially at the state and federal level. What you people need to do is wake up, vote all these people out of office, your state legislature. These are the people who make these laws, who can fix this. They're not. Find out who they are, get rid of them, and then we've got to have campaign finance reform. We've got to stop this legal bribery of our politicians. Until we have that, we're all screwed. You're screwed, I'm screwed, he's screwed. We're screwed. There's nothing you can do. And you're not going to get campaign finance reform. You're not going to reverse the legal bribery of our politicians with the current people in there because they're benefiting from it. They're bribed. They're on the take. Almost all of them are. I mean, maybe one new one that just got elected ain't there yet. Leave him in there a little while, and I guarantee you he will be just like the rest of them.
Caesar said that power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. And that's been mankind's failure through all the ages. And here's the thing. You can correct it by one act. Vote them out.
That's it.
Vote them all out. Start fresh. Every time or maybe every other time. Start fresh. They don't have time to get totally corrupted. Power corrupts, absolute power corrupts, absolutely. And if you give them absolute power, they will get corrupted, absolutely. And it's been mankind's burden or failure through all the ages and all the civilizations that have existed. That's exactly what has happened every time, and that's why almost every civilization has failed. Please fix this. All you got to do is vote them all out. Start again.
I have a saying I've said on the show long. It's a military saying. I changed it a little bit. Fire them all, let God sort them out. Okay, back to the Secret Service thing. Okay, back when I worked with them, you have what's called, and I get a little more details here. I got a little bit of time. You have what's supposed to have happened is the Secret Service sends out an advance team days before the president shows up. Now, I know you have candidates who last minute change this and last minute change that, and they drive Secret Service crazy, okay? But still, before that candidate ever arrives to a site, especially a site this big and open, and they did have days notice, okay? An advance team should have gotten there, done what's called a reconnaissance, and no way that building that close to a candidate should have ever been there should have been a Secret Service agent up there. And we had the locals. And I tell you what, that first press conference when that woman, Secret Service woman, threw the local agencies under the bus like she did, I couldn't believe that. I wish we could go back. I wish I could show that. Go back and watch that press conference. Because those state and local agencies are like looking at each other like, I can't believe she just did that. They were just dumbstruck, jaw dropped that she did. Well, you'll have to ask them. They were in charge. No, you were in charge. It wasn't their job to protect Trump. It was your job. It was your job to get there, put a Secret Service agent on that roof, and keep somebody off of there. I mean, that just blows my mind that she did that. Now, what do you think that does for the feds, the federal government, and local and state agencies and how well they get along? Right? Does that instill camaraderie in the feds? I'm telling you, no, it doesn't. And if I'm a state police officer or a local sheriff or something, and I have the feds coming in, you don't have trust. You have extremely damaged the trust between state and local agencies. Another thing, I want you to go back and watch, because I'm sure they'll keep showing it. Fox News shows it 20 times a day, okay? When he gets shot, look how long it takes for them to get his butt into that vehicle. That should never happen, ever, okay? You train for that. He should not have been down that long, and then and I know everybody loved it when he stood up and went like this, okay? That is a major foobar, okay? For my military people, you know what I'm talking about, okay? No. Go back and watch when Reagan got shot, because you can pull that up on YouTube. Go watch that. Watch how quickly his butt gets thrown in that car. Okay, he ain't allowed to get up. He ain't allowed to do nothing. I mean, you hear pop, pop, pop. He is in the car. Look at where the vehicle is when he walks out of that building. Okay, and then look at where Trump's vehicle is, how far away it is. And again, you know, I've said I'm no fan of Trump. It doesn't matter what I think about it. This was wrong, way wrong. Wrong is wrong, and right, you know, two wrongs don't make a right. That vehicle being parked that far away and them having to get him and move him to that vehicle should have been pulled right up to those steps. All those people they had to get through. Watch how close they are. The crowd's right here, and they're having to go like this to get past the crowd. That should have never happened. That was a failure of gargantuan proportions. I'm telling you on the Secret Service. Go ahead.
I don't think we've heard the last of this. I think this is an ongoing thing, and I think we're going to hear a lot more.
Well, only because freedom of the press. If we didn't have, FOIA, so the press could get information legally, and they'd have to cough it up, and if we didn't have open records request, y'all wouldn't know nothing about this. I'm just telling you. If it wasn't for the press exposing this, there's a lot of stuff you wouldn't know. They have to cough it up because of laws. Which, by the way, your state legislature right here in Kentucky is trying to get rid of. They're fighting me. They hate me, and they're fighting me tooth and nail, trying to pass legislation so they can hide documents. Documents you paid for. This is the public documents. They're trying to hide what they're doing.
Yeah, so the average man cannot see what they're doing.
Exactly. Okay, we're out of time. Folks, we covered a lot. I'm sorry I crammed so much in here. We will be back. Our next show is going to be pretty amazing. We hope to have a show within a month or two. We're going to have I'm going to promo it right now, some major whistleblowers on the plutonium plant that exposed a lot of Kentuckians to plutonium. That's right. We had them on here once before. Now the lawsuit's been filed. It's been moving forward. There's a lot of people injured from this. And yes, a lot of Kentuckians have been radiated. And we're going to do another show on that and have the actual whistleblowers and the people covering this on. We only got 2 minutes.
How many years ago was that we went over there? We planted a seed and it's saying it this long to come to fruition.
Well, we did a whole press release at Washington, D.C. at the Washington Press Club on this. And what I'll do is I'll find that and post that before we do the show. That's going to be an amazing show when we do it. We're trying to just get it all organized to get people flowing in here. Okay, we're out of time. Folks, we want to thank MBR TV tonight, the folks out with MBR TV. Thank you so much for keeping us on television and not giving in to pressure to throw us off. Thanks to all of our Facebook people. Thank you so much. And this will also be on YouTube tomorrow sometime. So we want to see you. Thanks, Dan. Thanks for everybody behind the scene back here. Thank you all. See you next time on Truth or Politics. Thanks.